Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We continue our Coach's Corner shows here at from Johnny's Pizza. We're having a great time tonight. I'm joined by Coach Chuck Gibbs. Coach, appreciate you joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
Welcome to your first show here with us after an exciting Friday night. A ball game. I had a chance to go and enjoy, watch my son up in the Blue Crew, jumping up and down, going crazy. The kids have a lot of fun at those games. But a game against Heard County, a team from the AA side, has been powerful for years, been ranked, comes in returning, I think, just about every senior on the line that they had, both offense and defense. Pretty effective running game. And y'all put up a pretty big, impressive fight. A little tough the first quarter, but really proud of the guys as they went through. I think they held them the second half to nothing at all as far as points goes. Correct.
Yeah, I was real excited. The kids came in, and, anytime you start off in a game and, the emotions take the edge off at first and you come out kind of timid, and kids always, waiting for, when are the wheels going to fall off, and down to that mentality. And we had to get lined up right. We had a whole bunch of defensive misalignments the first two series. Obviously, it set us back. They scored on one, and we held them to a field goal and on the other, which was a great stand. And but our kids fought all night, and defense settled in and went exactly with the game plan, what we called. And, we made them, basically we're going to make them have to earn it.
Yeah. Coach, you're coming into LaGrange High. We're going to mention it once, and we'll never mention it again. We had a tough season last year. Coach Burks and his crew, really tough couple of seasons there. But one of the things on Facebook, and you'll see it at the high school, defending the star, kind of bringing back that energy. This is a really a storied program throughout the state of Georgia. You mentioned LaGrange High School football, Valdosta. You got several of those kind of big names across the state of Georgia. And I think that your team is really excited about trying to bring back some of that energy, getting the guys ready to really defend that star at Callaway Stadium.
Yeah, one of the things that the Lord put on my heart when I applied for the job was back in Nehemiah about rebuilding, Jerusalem. And as it really went, we really are a storied program. And I think second in all-time wins in the state of Georgia, and like 45th or 46th in the country. And there's so much pride and tradition that's going on with LaGrange football. And, even back to, Callaway Stadium. That's LaGrange High School football stadium. Mm-hmm. And no one else used it at the time. And, there's an ebb and flow, and there's a constant flux of success. And certain guys graduate and coaches move on. And all those sorts of stuff happens. But, we looked at it as trying to come back with the silver helmets and get the star back on there. So we could bring back some of the traditions of the past. We can reconnect our current players with past players. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. LaGrange High School football is the standard.
Right.
And we just need to tap into it. Let's stand on their shoulders. Let's partner with those guys. Let's learn some of those life lessons and some of those legendary lessons that, Coach Perdue, Coach Cronick, let's go through what those guys have brought to LaGrange, and let's tap into that. Mm-hmm. Me being from outside, from another state, I want to use all the pride and all the tradition of all the alumni that are scattered all over the NFL and college football, and let's pour into that and build from that, as opposed to, considering ourselves at the bottom of the well, and that we got to, dig ourselves out.
Well, I think that's a great point, Coach. It is a program that is, if you're not in LaGrange the past couple of years, you hear LaGrange, and an image comes to your mind of a bunch of guys that have taken on the state over the years. And I think that that's a wonderful approach to it, to get these guys not just reliving the past, but to realize this is who we are.
Yes, sir. It was funny because, trying to set up junior varsity games all over the state. And I reached out to a bunch of friends of mine over in Alabama because we're trying to play junior varsity games on Monday nights, and I couldn't get anybody to play us. They're like, we're not playing LaGrange, and I'm like, guys, it's different, man. We got a long way to go. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of coaching. We got a lot of teaching to do. Our kids are short experience, and we're going to build it right, build it slow. And, the wins will come, but the wins are really a result of, strong leadership and just consistent training as we pour in and the kids buying in and the community embracing us.
Coach, you mentioned you come from the outside. Tell the folks just a little brief sketch of you, what kind of your previous experience and what brought you to LaGrange High.
Well, I grew up in Auburn. My dad coached at Ohio State. Woody Hayes got fired after the Gator Bowl incident, and we moved down. He was offensive coordinator at Auburn for, Doug Barfield's last year and Pat Dye's first two. And that's where I got to know LaGrange. My parents separated when I was 10, and, my Friday nights, I live with my mom. The only time I got to see my dad was Friday nights recruiting, and he was always recruiting
at LaGrange.
And, from Nate Hill and Vince Sutton and crew and those guys, it was a special place at the time because LaGrange was LaGrange in the 80s, in the late 70s and early 80s, and then he moved over to Georgia, continued recruiting, and actually tried to flip a couple of guys that had committed to Auburn, Alabama, and tried to flip them to Georgia. And so it was a special place. And then, I went on, played football at West Point and coached up there for a couple years, and joined the Army, flew attack helicopters for 10 years. Retired, got medically retired out in Hawaii, and the calling to coach. You can step away from the game for a little bit of time, but it eats at you a little bit more each year. And got married and had kids, and so we decided we were going to move, and did my internship with the Falcons in 2004, and got an opportunity to coach the Pro Bowl with the Atlanta Falcons when they lost to the Eagles in the NFC Championship because they came out to Hawaii. And Rich McKay had offered me a position up there as, offensive consultant. Mm-hmm. My father was a offensive line assistant head coach under Jimmy Moore. And, I wanted to do it, but the timing wasn't right for our family. And it was kind of at that time that, I really felt that my path was a little bit different. My brother had been the defense coordinator at Auburn in 2005 and went back to the Chiefs, and he's been in the NFL and college football and had tremendous success. But I really just have always had a heart for high school kids, but also for my family.
Yeah.
That I don't really care to go work, 110-hour weeks. But if I am working, these 60, 70, 80-hour weeks, I want to do it where I can make a difference. And kind of the parallels of my military career, you go from serving your country to serving your community.
Right.
And whether it's, through your church or through your businesses or through your, athletic endeavors, and that's kind of where we are. And so when I'd heard – we waited, 2 years ago, Opelika opened up, and I knew Caleb Ross was applying, and I had some people trying to get me to, try and put in to get the Opelika job. But it wasn't the right time for us. I had a daughter that was a senior in high school, so we stayed in Scottsdale and had a wonderful situation. Lived 200 yards from the school. Had been the middle school and the high school athletic director, mm-hmm. and I stepped down and resigned from them to spend more time with my kids because – that clock does not stop.
I know what you're talking
about. And so we were comfortable. And, boy, I tell you what, that's one – those are words that I hope never come back out of my mouth because every time I get comfortable in life, the Lord starts calling.
Time to move.
And sure enough, and so we actually did. We came here in December to spend time with my mom and my sister up in Birmingham, and we circled, five communities in Alabama and Georgia that we felt like really were – I don't want to say deprived of leadership because Coach Burks has done a wonderful job with the kids, but we just felt like there were communities that were missing something. And quite often, there's chemistry mm-hmm. involved in coaching. There's the science, X's and O's part of it, but there's also the art of leadership. And LaGrange was one of the places that kind of we felt like we could go in and not turn programs around, but we just felt like we could go in and make a difference.
Yes.
And just be vehicles that we felt like the Lord could love people through us. And so it was on our docket, and we came through and interviewed, and they offered us this job, and the rest is history. We're here.
Well, it's going to be an exciting ride, Coach, as we go through the entire season. We'll be talking about we're going to take a break. We'll come back. Let's talk about this past Friday night's game. And also, we've got a special guest going. It's Dexter Fitzpatrick, I think you brought with you tonight for us to talk about one of the outstanding defensive linebackers there for the LaGrange High School Grangers. But right now, we're going to take our first break. You're listening to the Coach's Corner live from Johnny's Pizza on the Parkway right here on Eagle Sports.
Talking with Perry Prather here from Holmes Pharmacy. And Perry, people are talking about y'all have 2 old goats or something. What's up with this?
I thought that was you and Steve, Coleman.
No.
But anyway, no, we do. We have this product that's for arthritis. Comes in a balm lotion. They have several different products, but it's a product that's called 2 Old Goats. We have sold so many units of this, Coleman. It is a great product. You do go by the store on Commerce, and you can get it at Hamilton and at Sawmill. But it basically says 2 Old Goats, and we got on the sign, come in and meet our 2 Old Goats. And So usually they come in and they think it's me and somebody else, I guess. But it's actually a product. A lot of patients are just, wanting it, and they're just coming in and buying it. It's unbelievable. So if you need something for some arthritis pain, aches, come by and check out the 2 Old Goats.
Come by and find out about that and much more at Holmes Pharmacy on Commerce Avenue, inside the Piggly Wiggly at Lee's Crossing and Hamilton, and on the web at holmespharmacy.com.
State Farm, Kathy here.
Hey, it's Mike. My team just pulled off the biggest upset ever.
Nice, Mike.
And some fans are getting crazy. They even flipped over a car.
Whoa.
Turns out it's my car, though.
Oh.
But I don't want to be upset right now. I want to know State Farm's going to take care of this, right?
We got you covered, Mike.
Yes! Woo!
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Your State Farm agent is Matt Orr on the square in downtown LaGrange.
Hey, it's T-O-double-D, Todd Parrish here with Kia LaGrange. A big thank you to everyone who helped us make the Stuff to Bus campaign a success. As our way of saying thanks, we are having a back-to-school sale on all new Kias. You can ride home today in a brand-new 2018 Kia Optima LX for as low as $19,888. The 2018 Kia Optima LX has a head-turning style inside and out. Stop by 1217 Lafayette Parkway or shop online at KiaLaGrange.com. Help support your local economy.
Stop number 110619. Price plus tax second title. See Kia LaGrange. Complete details.
Deciding to sell or buy a home is a big step. To make sure it's the step in the right direction, choose the person best qualified to handle your real estate needs. Joel and Rob Upchurch have been breaking sales records every year since 1997. They truly are the real estate leaders in West Georgia. So take a step in the right direction. Contact Joel or Rob Upchurch at RE/MAX Results because they are dedicated to results and converting transactions into relationships.
Now back to the Coach's Corner live at Johnny's New York Style Pizza on Eagle 102.3, WLAG 96.9 FM, 1240 AM, and online at eagle1023.com.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Jack Woolman, Coach Chuck Gibbs joining us here as we're talking about LaGrange High School, Granger football. And this past weekend, the Heard County Braves came into Callaway Stadium and brought a lot of folks. There was a big crowd. But early in the season, Heard County, I think, came and showed up. And, of course, the Granger fans showed up well. I think last year, Coach Burks and I actually kind of joked about it. A lot of times the band was one of the main things that people came to watch because Dr. Farrell does such a tremendous job in bringing those kids and the energy that comes in the stands. But as I was walking through the crowd, one of the things I like to do is listen. And I'll be watching, but you kind of listen to the comments that people make and if they're talking to their friends. And one of the things that I really enjoyed listening to, especially as the game moved on, was they're hitting folks. Man, look, and the positive comments that were coming out of some guys that I've heard some not so positive comments from over the years really gave me a warm feeling. It really kind of said to me that, hey, you could feel the ship starting to just turn a little bit as we get going. And you and I talked in the first break, just the defense doing a tremendous job against a team that has a very formidable offensive line, a good back coming back, a good quarterback. Offense is a little bit tougher sometimes because you got to get everybody lined up. I think you had a neat quote about alignment a minute ago that sometimes I think offense is a little harder to get those sorts of things down with, but your defensive guys were just all over the place.
Yeah, one of the things that it doesn't matter what level of football you play on. If you can, run the ball and hold on to the football and control the clock a little bit and play great defense, a.k.a. Alabama, and really SEC football. If you can do that, my father's been to 7 Super Bowls, and you do it when you're playing really good defense, and you're able to hold on to the football and ball control kind of, and it's not necessarily run the ball, but spreading it out. So one of the biggest things that came to me, because you go back and look, and as I studied the storied tradition of LaGrange, it was always great defense. Mm-hmm. And my brother's defense coordinator, he's out of Texas Tech, and they're air raid, and so he's playing 70% of the snaps on defense. So we joke about it. You never want to be that offense. We were that offense Friday night, but we start talking about 706 being our area code and being the 706 defense and being the best defense in this region and being something that we've known for it. And as we went through spring ball and everything, one thing I noticed is our kids really, really responded to the defense. And we basically run the same defense my brother ran when he was defense coordinator at Auburn University. And I believe in putting in a college-style defense so that we can provide our players opportunities to get recruited.
Right.
College coaches can see them and can see how they fit into it. Our guest is with us. We'll talk about him later. But, Troy State's already looking at him as a possible Mike linebacker, even though, he could possibly be a will. But how he fits into our defense, and they see it, that brumps out. But going back, as our kids bought into it, and I think Manchester had in our spring scrimmage, I think they had 34 yards and one first down.
Right.
In their first 5 series. Our kids crave contact, and so the deal that I like to do is, with everything going on with concussions and safety and protocol, how can you limit contact yet still be proficient at it? And there's a real fine balance in there where you want these kids salivating on a Friday night, and you want them to get in that habit, because there's nothing worse than playing against a defense that loves contact.
Oh, yeah.
They're just straight up is nothing.
It's intimidating.
And so we knew we had that going in. Obviously they played a great game against Kendrick too, but we knew the level of the talent. I mean, I think Hurd had 16 or 17 starters coming back. Their whole offensive line. Beasley is an absolute monster. My respect for that kid. He played his tail off, but he wasn't by himself. And they brought the whole package, and we game planned and felt like we had a real good game plan going in, and we kept it simple enough that rather than trying to create an edge that would slow our kids down, we just let them play.
Right.
And early in the season, defense always has the advantage. You put in what you do. You don't have to adjust what you do based on what they're doing. You just do what you do. And so our defense is going to be good, and we know they're going to get better and better. And, we got a lot of young sophomore and juniors that are starting to fill in kind of roles on our defense and going after it. Offensively, it's just one of those things where, we felt like we took a step back from the scrimmage game.
Right.
And it had nothing to do with really the talent. Really had to do with, my mantra is alignment, assignment, and effort. And the kids knew how to line up. Obviously, we were in the right offensive formations. But what their assignment was, and the assignments change based on what Hurd County does. And for some reason, our assignments were off.
Right.
And so then we get behind the chains, and you get behind, and, boy, you let a defense like Hurd County come after you. And they pin their ears back, and, Katie bar the door.
Well, real quick, we'll have to take another break, but I also want to point out a couple of kids that you mentioned, your kickers. Matt Rainey getting a field goal in the ball game to get you on the board, and also Wesley Kuhn, just doing a tremendous job of punting the ball and really helping y'all out with field position too.
Yeah, I think he averaged 50 yards a punt the other night, and kicked 6 of them, so it wasn't like there was a fluke.
Right.
And he's got a cannon, and he actually is one-stepping. Because we didn't want to mess around with getting a punt blocked. And, they got close a couple times anyways. But his legs are so big. He's one-stepping. And, for college coaches, and Jamie Cole's a real good friend of ours, for them to see a kid that's 6'4", 6'5", be able to one-step and average 50 yards in a game with a high pressure against a game like that, future's really bright for Wesley as a punter. And, Matt Rainey, we got Jimmy Consino that kicked off for us. He'll put him out of the end zone probably 80% of the time. He kicked a 55-yarder in spring ball, third time he ever kicked a football.
Wow.
So I've got 3 senior kickers, and all 3 of them can hit probably 4 out of 5 from 40, 45 yards plus. So we actually are going to have a kicking rotation. And I've seen dual quarterbacks.
Is there a kicker controversy going on, Coach?
I've got a kicking controversy. We're trying to figure out how to get 3 seniors in the football game, and I got a junior that's behind them that potentially can be better than all 3 of them. And it's just funny, but they're out there just kicking nonstop in practice. But to see the kids fall back in love with the game of football, and to see the smiles on the sidelines, and to see kids not dreading coming to practice, but actually looking at practice as an opportunity to get better instead of an obligation. Right. And, man, we went out today and had an hour and a half before we had to come in for lightning and rain, and there was not – I mean, we were soaked.
Right.
I couldn't have gained more water in my stuff. You'd throw me in a daggone pool. And our kids were having fun, and we were getting better. And so anytime you see that, it really gets you enthusiastic and passionate just about how much they love the game and how much they care and how much they desire to win, that they're learning how to work to win now.
Right.
They're learning how to prepare to win. And I'm excited about, what the future's got for our kids, and I'm excited to see what we can get done for our seniors.
Well, we got a young man we're going to bring in. We have Dexter Fitzpatrick join us after the break. Let's go back to the station, let you hear from some of our sponsors again. Right now you're listening to Coach's Corner from LaGrange High School right here at Johnny's Pizza on the Parkway on Eagle Sports.
The Medicine Cabinet is excited to announce the opening of their third store in the Lee's Crossing community at 1704 Roanoke Road in LaGrange. Stop in and meet the staff. Pharmacist Tommy Whitworth will be leading the team. They offer home delivery inside city limits, a drive-through, and no long lines to wait in. Check out their medication compliance programs, a safe and efficient way to organize medications. Their coffee shop will be opening soon. The Medicine Cabinet is a locally owned pharmacy, plus a little more.
Hi, football fans. Jonathan Moose Map here from Glenn Smith in Opelika, Alabama. We love this time of year with all the excitement of football, and we also love that Glenn Smith can play a part in supporting high school sports. We support the team, the coaches, the band, the cheerleaders, and of course the families and the fans. At Glenn Smith, we're proud to be your local Chevrolet Buick and GMC dealer with over 500 new and used vehicles every day. Online 24/7 at glennsmith.com. That's Glenn Smith Chevrolet Buick GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
There's a secret to beating injuries or ailments. Get the right team. Emory Southern Orthopedics, well-trained, experienced doctors, nurses, and staff are that team. These teammates listen and understand your specific condition and provide high-quality hometown care that will get you back into your game. For more information about Emory Southern Orthopedics team, visit www.southernorthopedics.com.
In 1916, Auto Owners Insurance teamed up with local independent agents so customers could get fast, friendly, local service.
Bravo!
It worked so well, we decided to keep it that way. And 100 years later, we still do things the same way, by teaming up with local independent agents who deliver quality, personal service.
Thank you.
Some might call that old school. But then again, maybe everything old is new again. Kind of refreshing, isn't it?
Malory Agency at MaloryAgency.com. For all your insurance needs, it's the Malory Agency.
Now back to the Coach's Corner live at Johnny's New York Style Pizza on Eagle 102.3, WLAG 96.9 FM, 1240 AM, and online at eagle1023.com.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner live here from Johnny's Pizza. Zach Warren, joined by Coach Chuck Gibbs. And, Coach, I'm just going to take a moment before we kind of get back into things, talk about Granger football. A couple of things I want to mention. You just heard a commercial from the Malory Agency, and I want to just say a moment to wish the family of Rick Malory, who passed away this past weekend. He was a great supporter of the athletics in Tripp County. I think he's probably been running spots with us since I've been doing football, and that's almost 20 years here in our community. Just really a great family, and just our thoughts and prayers go out to that family. They're mourning the loss of Rick, and they're just celebrating a life well lived. He was a great guy in our community. Another thing I want to mention, also just from a promotional standpoint, we're here at Johnny's Pizza every Monday night, and we invite you to come out here and join us, folks. We're across from the LaGrange Mall here on the Parkway. And what's going to happen this year is that if you come in and you see the Coach's Corner, see the players, talk to the coaches, and you tell them that you're supporting either LaGrange College or Callaway or Troop or, of course, LaGrange High, then they're going to record that on your ticket. They'll put it in, and they'll start to count all that up. And at the end of the year, Coach, you need to get this promoted now. The team that has the most folks that come in through the course of the season, the coach is going to get a $200 gift certificate to do with as he sees fit.
Amen.
So I think Dexter, I was looking at him and he's thinking, hey, I know what he needs to see fit. But, Coach, we're joined now by one of your players, one of the guys that was really outstanding pretty much throughout the preseason, of course, but also last week against Heard County. Dexter Fitzpatrick is joining us. And just let you tell us a little about this young man from this past week.
I got a fine one right here next to me. I remember he's one of the first seniors I met when I came in and accepted the job. And I told him, I said, if you'll stick with me through this deal, because I know he had, opportunities to go elsewhere. I said, I'm going to turn you in one of the top 10 tacklers in the state of Georgia. And our defense, the way it's run in the last 5 years in Scottsdale, we've had one of the top 10 tacklers in the state of Arizona. And the system works. And I never thought it would work as well as it worked Friday night, playing a team as good as Herd was. Right. Dexter had a blowout night, 27 tackles, 12 solo, 15 assists. 3 or 4 tackle for losses, caused a fumble, might have recovered a fumble.
Did you get on it, Dexter?
But flat out got after it. And, again, just his leadership on the field and practice in the off season, it's one more thing that, Dexter's putting his brick in that wall as we're rebuilding it, and he's a huge part for us. And we got a couple colleges extremely interested in him. There's been more since Friday night, since he had his breakout
right.
against, you go and play like that at that caliber against, SEC and Division I football players, and you get noticed. And, it's not all about the recruiting services and stars and everything like that. It's what you do Friday night, and when they see you compete with like talent or better than talent than you're exposed to, you stand out on film. And, boy, let me tell you, number 2 jumped out like I've never seen Friday night.
Now, Dexter, of course, it's fun to get out there and fly around in the way that you got the linebacker set up. What's different so far with the guys this year as Coach Gibbs has come in? How are the guys different as you get going?
I feel like defensively, Coach Gibbs came in and really just tell us to play.
There you go. Go ahead. We got your mic now.
I'm sorry. I feel like Coach Gibbs just came in and just really told us to play football. And like he said, everybody on the defense love contact, and I feel like that's really the difference.
So against a tough team against Hurt County,
yes,
but we had several tackles for losses. Is there a play that stands out that just felt good, just felt right Friday night?
Oh, I remember one play. It was 4th down. I remember they had went for it, and it was a tackle for a loss, turnover on down. So I really was hyped, and the team was hyped after that play.
Well, that'll get a crowd excited. That'll get fans on the sideline excited. Now, is Dexter going to stay just primarily on defense, or are you going to see him going both ways a little bit?
He can go both ways. The struggle you got, and as we're rebuilding it, the struggle we got is when you get great athletes that are playing two ways. If you lose one of them, you've lost 2 starters.
That's true.
The second is when you do that, you're actually taking away experience and playing time from other kids, which could very well be sophomores and juniors, from a standpoint of now robbing your future of your program.
Okay.
And so I have a rule that when we make personnel decisions, substitution, depth chart, and everything, we put the football program ahead of the football team, and we put the football team ahead of the football players.
Okay.
And by doing that, we are always building for the future. And so when you come in, and Dexter can attest to this, my first priority was to get our seniors situated in their best position that gives them the best opportunity to get a college scholarship. So that if this is where they're going to be playing in college, I could use him right now, and he could be a great tight end for us. But at the expense of him not being one of the top middle linebackers in the state of Georgia, I'm taking time out of, and I'm actually pulling some substance from his future. And so we really want to highlight these kids of where we feel college coaches want to see them. I did my internship with the Falcons and coached at Army, and my defensive line coached at USC under Pete Carroll for 5 years. And so, we know what it takes to play at the next level. We've played it, we've coached it, and we want to now set our kids up for success so that they can have success at the next level and not, falsifying any kind of recruiting situation. It's when I tell the coaches that this guy can play Mike linebacker for you, this guy can play Mike linebacker for you.
Now, Dexter, one more quick question. Are you having fun?
Oh, absolutely. Every time I get a chance to put on my helmet and step on the field, it's a blast. Well,
and as an elementary school guy, I just love to hear the kids are having fun playing sports, and that's the winning will come. The excitement on Friday night's already there, and I appreciate what you're bringing to the program. Are we going to do one more break after this, or are we going to fix the close? Look at my guys. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Okay, folks, we appreciate you joining us here on Eagle Sports. We're going to be here every Monday night at Johnny's Pizza. The 8:30 will be the time for our LaGrange High School program show. You got a lot of games on Monday nights, Coach, so that's why we got to push it back for y'all. But it's going to be an exciting season. Dexter, I appreciate you joining us. Looking forward to seeing you a lot more throughout the season. And Coach, appreciate it. Now, who y'all got next week?
We're off this Friday, and then next Friday we play Callaway.
Okay, all right, the big ball game. We'll look forward to that. Well, folks, thank you again for joining us. We're going to be here as we mentioned, every Monday night at Johnny's Pizza across from the mall. Join us out here. Make sure you let us know what team you're supporting so we can get that drawing going and get some pizza for Coach Gibbs. For Coach Gibbs, for Cohen, for all the guys here at Johnny's Pizza, we thank you, and we'll see you next week on the radio.
Deciding to sell or buy a home is a big step. To make sure it's a step in the right direction, choose the person best qualified to handle your real estate needs.